Hello, welcome to Minerals, Rocks, and Fossil Talks. I'm your, today, geology teacher, Jen. I just watched the first episode of season 4 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Sorry, not Stranger Worlds. Anyway, oh my gosh. Every time I see an episode in Sci-Fi or a movie in Sci-Fi that tries to come up with some fancy alien race that lived on Mars or what Mars was like at any given time, it always makes me laugh. So for this one, Mars was at war with an apparent fifth rocky planet. Not fifth. Hold on. They kept calling it the fifth planet. Yeah, fifth rocky planet. So, anyway, Mars is at war with this planet for some reason. This planet was attacking them, and they hit it with something that was slowly turning the planet red. And if they didn't destroy this planet, it was going to kill them all. Because apparently, when you name a planet after a war god, that planet must always be in a fight. Okay, so let me explain why this is ridiculous. Not the war thing, but why the way they're depicting Mars is not going to work and why it was turning red doesn't work. So, Mars and our whole solar system began forming about 4.5 billion years ago. So it's all forming at the same time. Mars is a lot smaller than Earth, about half the size. So it formed faster than Earth did. Okay? And because it formed faster, it kind of it was able to form water faster. It just had water trapped in it, and it was able to form the liquid and get that started faster than Earth was by about 50 million years or so. Okay? Now, Mars had a small, as far as geologic time goes, a small window of time where it could have allowed for life to exist. And that window was small enough that life was not going to get advanced enough to be, first off, anything close to what we are. Not even anything close to what he is. Right, sir? Not anything close to what these are, plants. We're talking lots of single-celled organism type things. And they're not going to be anything fancy. And part of the reason that we know this, other than the small window of time, and first off, how long did it take life to get from single-celled organisms to multicellular organisms? 2 billion years. 2 billion, okay? Mars did not have that kind of time before it started losing its ability to support life, okay? By about 3.9 billion years ago, its plate tectonics and everything stopped working. Okay? Its atmosphere was stripped and thinning. And its magnetosphere was not working, was not protecting that atmosphere, which is why it was getting stripped. Okay? So, we just don't have the time to support life. So unfortunately, we're never going to see anything like we do on Star Trek or on Doctor Who. There's not going to be a warmongering race of aliens that used to live there. Because that life just couldn't form. There was no time. The other thing that really got me, at least in the Star Trek episode, was that this warmongering race that was attacking this fifth planet that supposedly existed happened 65 million years ago. Yeah, I'm sure you can guess where this is going, okay? So, 65 million years ago, they get a hold of some of Starfleet's technology and they blow up the fifth planet. And part of that planet hits Earth and kills the dinosaurs. First minor thing, 66 million years ago. We've known this for at least a decade now. So the least they could do is at least catch up with that. It's not 65, it's 66. But minor detail. We know that it wasn't a piece of a planet that hit Earth and caused that crater, the Chicxulub crater in Mexico, because of the iridium. Iridium is found in asteroids, not planets. Iridium's really rare outside of that, okay? So we know that it was an asteroid. But they're trying to say that this planet exploded, hit Earth, and then formed the asteroid belt. The asteroid belt already existed, folks. It was not created from the destruction of a planet, a single planet. And then it was saying because of all of that, it caused both Mars and Earth to cool down. Okay. The asteroid did cause Earth to cool down. That was part of what was causing extinctions. These were plants and animals that were adapted to a mostly tropical, warm environment. They did see snow. There was no permanent ice caps. So this is where they're going to start to form permanent ice caps on our poles from this asteroid. And all of that. And it's going to change the environment significantly. Mars was already dead at this point. Nothing an exploding planet was going to do is going to have an effect on Mars at this point. It can't protect itself. It's dead. Like I said, the asteroid belt was already there. It's, yeah. I appreciate that Sci-Fi really wants some just alien race to be on Mars, or that some alien race or some tragic thing caused the demise of the dinosaurs and it could have been avoided. It could not, my friends. I'm sorry. That asteroid got pulled into our gravitational pull, and it had nowhere to go but down to the surface. And there was never going to be any fancy life on Mars. But, E for effort. But I hope you learned something new about, like, early Mars and Earth history. And enjoy your sci-fi. It's fun, even if a lot of the time it's just so far off. Fossilized you later. I also forgot one more thing. Because they got pulled into the time-space continuum and it's shot into the past, they had to find iridium to fix their ship for some reason. I'm not entirely sure what the iridium was for. But they sent them planet-side, not realizing it was Earth at first, because they could find iridium down there. We don't have very much iridium on this planet. But we do have a layer of iridium on the planet that is 66 million years old, which I assume is why they decided to go with that, because, ooh, we could find iridium here. Except this is before the asteroid hit, and there was not that iridium layer until after the asteroid hit, so they wouldn't have been able to find iridium to fix their ship there anyway. So their timeline's a little off. But anyway, I just had to add that, because it made me laugh. No iridium yet.